Alright, so first off, right, I just want to start by saying thank you to anybody who was sending like love and positivity my way, and anybody who was saying supportive things in the comments, or anybody who DM'd me and said nice things, because like 742 people DM'd me and was saying things and sending me love and all that kind of stuff. And even though all the people, I wasn't able to respond to all people, like I've been trying, because I do want to personally respond to anybody who DM'd me on Instagram and reached out. Like, I do appreciate it. And so 704 is a lot. Plus, somehow people are getting my number and texting me. Folks is emailing me. I'm trying to get to anybody who reached out personally. I'm trying to get to you to respond, because I do really appreciate all the support, because I was really scared to even post this. Like, I just thought it was gonna backfire, that folks wasn't gonna be. Let me just turn that a little bit. There we go. Or that, people was gonna be bashing me, which some people are, but you're always gonna get that when you post something like vulnerable or whatever. So I just wanted to say thank you. So a lot of people was basically saying like, I need story time, or they want to know the full story. They asking for part 3. Some folks who was DMing me was asking, for the story. Like this one guy from the UK texted me and asked if he could FaceTime me so that I could tell him more about the situation, because he actually really wanted to know what was going on or whatever. And I don't know if it's from being nosy, or from people having a shared experience, or from people wanting to know, I guess, so they don't make the same mistake or whatever. But whatever the case may be, I'm not ashamed, and I'm very much open to talking about it, telling people whatever. But I cannot respond to 700 people and tell 700 people the story 700 times. And I cannot respond to every person in the comments who's asking questions about why I stayed or how old I was. And I can't respond to every single person who DM'd me on TikTok and asking questions. There are people who go to my college who've seen it, like the gourmet dining is the people who make our food in the cafeteria. And one of the girls was like, "You got TikTok?" I'm like, "Yeah." She like, "I knew I seen your face. Like, I knew I knew you." Like, I can't tell the story all these different times, so I'm just gonna tell it once, one video. And anybody who's invested, like y'all saying in the comments, or you really want to see, or you want to know, or whatever, watch it. If not, oh well. I honestly, I just want to get it once on recording, so I don't have to keep saying it. So I think what I'm gonna do is just look at the TikTok and just explain what I meant by each picture, or the scenario for each picture, because there are so many people, like I said, keep asking. So so the first picture, it just says we met in 2018. I'm sorry, I thought she was my person, which I did. Second picture says she moved a few hours away and started cheating. So when she first moved away, I didn't initially know she was cheating. It took a while for me to, like, there were red flags, and people were sending me stuff, and people would show me stuff, and I would find stuff, and I walked in on her with some girl one time, but I always like swept it under the rug or let it be, that kind of situation. Now when I met her, I was 13, 14. When I met her I was 14, but we didn't start dating till when I was 15, almost 16. Yeah, around that time. And so she's about to be 23 in a couple weeks, so she's 3 years older than me. And when I was 17, she was 20 years, so she's like 3 years older than me. So just keep that in mind, so I don't have to keep re-saying the age range or whatever. The next one is she graduated after summer school, and I was so proud. So we went to high school together. I was in the 10th grade. She was a senior. And we always used to like skip school, sneak off, We used to skip school so she'd get her Doonies bust, or to get cheese fries. I would skip school to get cheese fries, but when we skipped school together, it was, so she could get her, I was a munch, so it is what it is. I'm still a munch a little bit, but we would skip school for, shit like that. And she already had been skipping school and doing bad in school throughout the school year before I even met her. So like before I even moved to that school, because I switched to that school in the middle of the year, or towards the end. So when it was time to graduate, she didn't graduate. She had to go to summer school, And I stayed up with her every single night till like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, studying, doing schoolwork. I'm rubbing her feet, rubbing her back, feeding this bitch tater tots so that she can study every day when she getting up going to summer school. I'm getting up with her, waiting at the bus stop early in the morning, knowing that I had to be to work by 10 because I worked at Six Flags. I'm just doing it, like, I'm thorough like that. So when she graduated, I was there, front row, flowers, cupcakes, recording, screaming. I'm so happy for her. The next one is when I graduated. I was in the acceleration program, so I skipped so when I started, after she graduated that August, I started in September in the 11th grade, but they said, you want to be a senior, you want to graduate now, like, you take this test, you test out, blah, blah, blah. So I did, and even though I knew the cost, I had to turn this ring off. Even though I knew, because somebody's still texting. Even though I knew what it would cost me, like, I knew, okay, you're skipping, I had to skip prom to take my SATs because I found out about being a senior late. I had to skip a lot of, like, senior events and school events so that I could go on, like, college trips to see schools and stuff. I knew what that meant for me, like, giving up the remainder of my childhood, giving up, the remainder of my high school experience that I already basically didn't get to have because I had a very shitty childhood. But I was willing to do that so that I could be where she was and be on her level and equal her and be on the same level as the people she was around and all that, because she was already out of high school. She already had her own apartment by this time, and she was 20. And so I was eager to, match that. When I graduated, the night before, I sent her some money on Cash App to get on the train, right? And, I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix my do-rag. So I sent her some money on Cash App to get on the train. And she told me she was going to be there. The graduation come, mind you, I'm valedictorian. And I gave a speech. So I get on stage to give my speech, and as I give the speech, first of all, I'm already nervous as fuck. And I'm giving the speech, and I'm looking all through the crowd, and I don't see her face. And the more I search through the crowd and I don't see her face, the more nervous I'm getting. I start stuttering and stuff because I realized she wasn't there, and it kind of caught me off guard, broke my heart a little bit. So I'm stuttering, I'm like, skipping shit by accident. So we get outside, start taking pictures and stuff, and my family like, oh, where's Chanel? And I'm like, she was here, but she had to leave early to go to work. I lied to cover up for her. I did that all the time though, lied to cover up for her because I didn't want my family or like my friends or anybody to dislike her despite all the things that she was doing. Even if she deserved it, I didn't want anybody to dislike her because I knew at the end of the day I was still going to run back to her, and I needed them to like her or love her just as much as I did, so that when I did bring her around, no one felt any type of way towards her, no one disliked her, no one wanted to fight her, anything like that. So I just lied, said she came, she left early. I guess they believed it was what it was. What's the next picture? It says, I was sad because she hit me in front of my mom. Not that she hit me just in front of my mom. So the reason I said not that she hit me just in front of my mom is because I was already used to it. Like, by that point, she already had given me 2 concussions. She had established a pattern of, like, putting her hands on me. She kicked me downstairs at one point. She chased me and hit me in the head with a fire extinguisher. Just goofy shit like that. So I wasn't concerned about her hitting me. Like, I usually just used to take it. But I didn't want my mom to see. Mind you, it was my birthday when she hit me. That picture. Let me show you. It was my birthday. What happened is, she had missed my birthday. The night before, she told me she was going to her ex's house because his sister does hair, and his sister's supposed to do her sewing. When it started getting late, my birthday is New Year's, so it was New Year's Eve, and I wanted her to come to the countdown with me. It started getting late, and she said, I think she ended up missing the train or something like that, and she just stopped responding. So the next day, she showed up early in the morning with the same hairstyle she had already. She didn't get the sewing, she still had braids, and they still, you feel me, I could tell it wasn't new. It's not like you got it rebraided. So my mom took us to the mall, and my mom stopped at the store on the way. She got out the car. Me and her was arguing about how you at your ex house getting your hair done and you come home with the same hairstyle. So we got out the car to argue because I didn't want to argue in front of my little sister, and she hit me, and my mom happened to be walking back to the car. So yeah, that was that. Let me see. I just explained this. The 17th birthday that she missed. Went to school across the state. So I live in New Jersey. Kane University is in Union, but I'm from Camden, which is like 2.5 hours away. So we talked about it, and she lived in Newark, so she basically convinced me to go to school up there because it was 20 minutes from where she lived, and we could see each other all the time, all that kind of great stuff. I moved 2.5 hours away from any person that I knew. I just up and left one day, and I never really thought about it. Like, that was the only school I applied to. That was my plan. We decided that's what we were gonna do. I was gonna live at my dorm. She would visit me all the time, and so since that's what we decided, that's what it was. I'm sorry. I went to school down there, and so I found out that the reason why she missed my graduation was because she was with a guy. I found that out on the same day of my graduation, later on that day. A girl that she knew me with at the time, she was dating multiple people. I guess the girl found out about the guy and about me and got mad, so she sent me, first of all, she sent me a video of them walking down the street, and they were walking into his apartment. They were holding hands, and he was leading her into his apartment. And then she showed me a video of the exact same time that I was giving my speech. She was on live with him, like sitting on his lap, being huggy kissed up with him. So she told me she missed my graduation. The excuse she gave was her phone broke, and the money I gave her for the train was on Cash App, so she wasn't able to get to me. And so, you know, it turned out to be a lie. Her phone wasn't broke, because how you won't lie with your phone broke? So, you know, when I got to school, she told me that basically I set up my apartment. I'm like, you know, you want to come visit? She told me no, and that despite me having given up the rest of my childhood for her, despite me having given up, you know, my high school experience for her, despite me having moved away from my family and moved away from all my friends and any support system that I possibly had, and making her the sole center of my life, she told me she didn't want to be with me no more. She was going to be with the person she had cheated on me with for a year, because she fell in love with him throughout that time. I obviously was crushed. The beginning of my college career was absolute trash. I never left my apartment. I left my apartment to go to school, and I went back to my apartment. And a lot of the times, I skipped classes, and I just laid there, sad, miserable, lights off, sometimes watching YouTube, sometimes just laying there in the dark. I didn't go to any events. I didn't interact with people. I had like one friend. It was a horrible experience for me. And I think by like the beginning of November, we started talking again because he had went to jail. That was a habit of him. He continuously was in and out of jail, but he had went to jail. And so, what was his name? His name was Ali Quan Howard. He's from Newark. And so he went to jail, and me and her started talking again. We got back together. Her birthday was November 19th. We've seen each other for her birthday, and then she came home with me to visit my mom for Thanksgiving. So we talked about it, and we decided, you know, we're gonna try to give it another try. We're gonna try to get back together. I was ecstatic. I was over the moon because I had been so lonely for that first semester. So I went through her phone that night, and I was sick to my stomach. I literally threw up. There was texts from at least 15 people that she had been having sex with and dealing with throughout that time. I don't know how long, but I just know throughout that time. This girl named Shalea, who's from Elizabeth, who the girl Shalea was under the impression that they were dating. So when I was telling her, you know, and showing her shit, she basically called me a liar and said, you know, she believed Chanel, which is whatever. Now she understands, but at the time she didn't. At the time, she was fucking her mother's boyfriend. Her mother's boyfriend's name is Chris. He's from East Orange, I believe. the mom and the boyfriend are alone together, but she was fucking him for money. So he would give her money, which she said she was going to use for a down payment on an apartment. She lied. She always lied. Everything she said was a lie. Anything came out of her mouth was a lie. So she was telling him she was using the money for a down payment on an apartment. So she was fucking him and sucking his dick, and he was giving her money. She was essentially prostituting, selling her body or whatever. I seen messages of that. She told like 4 or 5 different dudes that she was pregnant. I think 3 of them give her money for abortions. I don't know if she actually was pregnant or not. I just know a few of them had sent her money for an abortion. I feel like she wasn't actually pregnant, and she said she was. And then I remember she had told me that she got raped, and she spent like a couple days, like 2 days in the hospital. But the story didn't add up, and the story changed every time. And what I later found out was that that wasn't true. What happened is she let somebody raw dog her, and the person wouldn't pay for Plan B. So she went to the hospital, because if you go to the hospital and you tell them you're raped, they give you emergency contraception so that there is no possibility that you get pregnant by the rapist. They do a rape kit and all that, which is why she stayed like 2 days or something like that. It's not necessary. If you're not a minor, it is not necessary that you tell the police, that you file a report, or that they call the cops. They don't have to call the cops. You don't have to file the report. Taking that extra step with the police is not mandatory if you are not a child, or if it was not like a brutal assault where you can't, you feel me, like not on no law order SVU type shit. If you willingly walk in conscious and tell them someone raped you, they just give you emergency contraception. And so that's what happened. She didn't have money for Plan B, and the person she had sex with, I'm pretty sure it was like a selling her body kind of thing. And so she told them that she got raped, and they did a rape kit and did emergency contraception, but nothing ever came of it because she knew who she had sex with. It wasn't rape. She just needed a way to not get pregnant. I seen all these things, and I was so disgusted. Like, I can't even tell you how. And I wasn't really, a lot of it hurt. Like, the shit about her mom hurt me, but the shit that hurt me the most was her having another girlfriend, because she told the girl that I was her cousin. I'm sorry. She told the girl I was her cousin and all this extra goofy shit, and I feel like that's what hurt me more, because we just decided to get back together and you're already doing goofy shit. I was beyond upset, but like a lot of people saying in the comments, I kind of did bring it on myself, because I kept allowing her to do these things, and I kept allowing her to essentially come back after. The next one is just a picture of me. It just says I was emotionally and physically drained, which I was. I wasn't getting no sleep. That's what the bags are under my eyes. I wasn't doing my hair. I just was chilling. It says another birthday she promised to be at, but she didn't because she was somewhere cheating. So this was my most recent birthday, actually. This is my 20th birthday. So we just had spent Christmas together, and she left and told me she was gonna come back. So keep the name Fat Chris in mind. So yeah, his name Fat Chris, not just Chris. It's not like we know another Chris. We just call him Fat Chris because we call him Fat Chris, because he's fat. He's big as fuck. So Fat Chris, he from Trenton. So when we left, me and her went to see my mom on Christmas, and when we got back to my house, I came back alone because she said she was staying wherever she was at. She ended up not even going to see my mom with me. She went to her cousin's house or her dad's house. I believe she was with a nigga, probably Kui from Camden. I don't know his last name, but he cousins with my friend Chastity. He got like 2 sisters, like Yanni and Jamira. So she be with that nigga. First she was telling me he was her cousin, and then I seen a picture of them on her phone kissing or a video or something like that. So I know for a fact that's not her cousin. And the crazy part is her aunt was lying for her, vouching, saying that that's her cousin. So either y'all disgusting as fuck on some incest shit, or you lied for her and said that was her cousin. Either way, back to the story. So, yeah. Where was I at? I really just forgot that fast. Let me see what the... Oh, so I came home alone, and she had the boy Fat Chris drop her off at my house. Remember Fat Chris, because he gonna come and into play for another picture. So she had the boy Fat Chris bring her to my house, but she had him park on the side because she knows for a fact that I scooted the chair, by the way. she knows for a fact that I absolutely can't stand that nigga, and I'm gonna get to the reason why I can't stand him. So it's not like he didn't already know where I live, because he, during the time that she was fucking with him, he had a baby on the way with my ex-best friend, the best friend that, unfortunately we don't speak anymore. Her cousin was pregnant by him, so they knew each other. He used to give her rides all the time, like a hood Uber. And so he already knew where I lived. He had picked her up from there before. So it's not like I didn't want him to know where I lived or something. I didn't really give a fuck. So when she left, she told me she was gonna come back for my birthday. I waited and waited and waited, and then eventually, so I waited hours and hours. She eventually called me and told me, I think it was raining real bad or something like that, and she told me that she wasn't coming because she was spending New Year's with Ali Kwan. Ali Kwan is the name of the boy who she missed my graduation for, who she cheated on me with 1,000,000,000 times. Ali Kwan. I'm like, bro, you gotta be kidding me. You're missing my birthday to hang out with him? That's what she told me. So she never showed up that birthday. This is the most recent birthday. So this is where the story of Fat Chris comes into play. So Valentine's Day, I planned this whole nice Valentine's Day. This girl from around my way named Nani, she makes like these little treats. She makes like chocolate covered pretzels and chocolate covered strawberries. She basically does party catering, and it's actually really good. Her Instagram name is at Nani's_creations, and creations with a 3. And she hooked me up with these chocolate covered strawberries with like gold flakes, and I had that. What else did I have? I had like a teddy bear. I had somebody make me I had Nani make me a basket. They had like some Victoria's Secret drawers in it, and I put rose petals in the room and heart-shaped balloons and candles. And she came there and she was happy about the shit, but she was texting the whole time. And so at one point I was looking at the phone, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt like that no more. I'm not looking at the phone. I found out 2 weeks later from my best friend, who's not my best friend anymore, Quaja, the girl who's cousin with the boy Fat Chris. She said, oh, Fat Chris told me that the day after Valentine's Day, Chanel sucked his dick because she needed a ride and she ain't had no money, so she sucked his dick for a ride in his truck. And I'm like, he told me that they was texting on Valentine's Day while you was with her, and basically she was saying that when she leaves, she could see him. My thing is, I had never told Quaja that I was seeing her on Valentine's Day, specifically for the reason that I knew she was getting fed up. We had this conversation multiple times about her getting fed up with, the situations with me and Chanel and all the back and forth and all the toxicness and drama. So I knew for a fact, we had this conversation so many times that I didn't tell her that I was seeing her. So there was no way for her to have known that unless Chanel told her or unless Fat Chris told her. And there was no way for Fat Chris to know that unless he actually was speaking to Chanel. And he said that while she was with me, she was sending him nudes. I believe that because she has a habit of doing that. You don't know how many people, half of Newark, Trenton, and Camden have nudes of this girl. There's probably 20 people in Elizabeth, 20 people in Newark, 20 people in Camden, 20 people in Glassboro, 20 people in Swedesboro, there's probably a good 1,000 people in all of New Jersey that have nudes of this girl. And so I believed it. She has a habit of doing that. She's already proven herself to do that. She sent them to me. She sent them to literally anybody. We don't even ask. She just be sending them. So I wasn't concerned. She wants people to see her body because she does have a nice little body, but just sending naked pictures of her body. So I believed it. I confronted her about it. She said he lying. She never sent him no nudes, but she was texting him. She said they did link, but she didn't suck his dick. Okay, so it's convenient how the other stuff he said is true about y'all linking and about you texting him, but you didn't suck his dick or send him nudes. Stop lying. So I confronted him about it, me and him arguing. Whole time, she was a pawn. He only did this because he was dating this bitch named Lexi back in like 2018, and I took her on a date. He was mad because I basically fucked your bitch while you were still with her and she cheated on you, and he was mad. So he did this, held this grudge for years as a get back so that he could held this grudge for years as a get back so that like he used you, bruh. Whole time he made you suck his dick and used you specifically as a pawn to get back at me for some shit I did when I was like 15. You're a pawn. He didn't even want you. terrible, awful. But that was the Valentine's Day picture. Let me go. It's just a regular screenshot of a T-Mobile thing. Now, I don't know if you can see at the top of my screen, I have AT&T. I have never had T-Mobile. So why would I be paying a T? I don't even pay my own bill. My mother pays it. I'm on her phone plan. Not my real mom, my adopted mom. So there would have been no reason for me to be paying this other than if I was paying it for her. A Louis V bag I brought her, some watches. So let me get into the story of this, right? So I take her to the mall, and we go in the mall. I spend $2K. I spent like probably like $100 on dinner, and then I spent probably $500 on me. All the rest I spent on her. I bought her Uggs. I bought her jeans. I bought her watches. I bought her any and everything you could fucking imagine. I'm sorry, this is bugging me. Any and everything you can imagine, I bought her. So the next day we got in an argument about something, and she told me to kill myself. I was trying to hide a bruise because we were upstairs in my bedroom and we were sleeping, and I like it to be cold, like 60 degrees. And I have a full bed. I had a full blanket. It wasn't a queen blanket or nothing. And this is what she said. I was pulling too much of the blanket, and I pulled it off of her, and she was cold, so she punches me in the face. She decked me in my eye, and I had a black eye. So I made her leave, and I called her an Uber, but when she got in the Uber, I changed the location to somewhere far away. Somewhere that she was going to be stranded at. So I was scared to go face my family. So when I finally got downstairs, my dad's like, what happened to your eye? And I had 2 nightstands on the side of my bed. So I just said I rolled over too far and hit my face on the nightstand. But he made a joke like, oh, I thought maybe Chanel did that to you. So I feel like he really knew like that it was her. This says, she started calling me fat and ugly and saying no one would want me. That's true. She said that very often. Her worst insult was calling me fat. And I started, at some point, I just was like, you know what? She right. Nobody else gonna want me. Nobody else wanna be with me. This is the best I could possibly do. And so if she says money is gonna keep her around, then let me give her the money. I don't want to be alone. Like, being lonely is a awful, terrible feeling. So if this will stop me from feeling that, let me just be with her. Let me just give her the money. $500 that I sent her for rent. No hesitation. Then the next screenshot is of messages with a girl named Zion, where Zion told me she never paid her an ounce. She never paid her a cent, a penny. The girl Zion had her rent paid from the time Chanel moved in all the way up until that February. She proved it. She showed me. She was on food stamps, so Chanel never needed to buy food for the house. The only thing that ever needed to be paid for was Wi-Fi, which cost $25, and Chanel never did. Chanel is a raging alcoholic, but she is a high-functioning alcoholic, so she could be pissy drunk and still go to work, still do things that a normal person can do. She can still live her daily life being blackout, pissy drunk, and so that's exactly what happened. She just used my money all the time to get drunk. And take pills. She take E-pills, she take perks, she takes Xans. I think she needs to be not sober to even live with herself. This is my birthday of 2021 that she also stood me up for, unfortunately. And I really thought she was going to show up this year. This says, she beat me up, pulled a knife, stole my phone, cashed out herself $700. That was my money for school. So I got my refund money for school, and it was the day before Valentine's Day. So on Valentine's Day, we had spent every Valentine's Day together. So even though she had a girlfriend this year, I just assumed we would spend like the next day together or something. I had booked the Airbnb in Newark where she stayed. I did the same thing, chocolate covered strawberries, rose petals, flowers, all that good stuff. I bought her some AirPods. So when she didn't show up, I went to the girls. I paid Zai $100 to send me the girlfriend's address. I knocked on the door. The girl wasn't there, neither was she. So her granny was there, and she had told them that I came there, I guess, and she didn't say my name because I never said my name. She just figured out it was me. I think they said they looked at the sign-in book because you got to sign in at the front desk. Okay, cool. So she was mad. She was angry with me. Boom. I went home to Trenton. I was talking to my bestie, and she called me, and she told me to come back the next day because she needed to get her phone fixed. So she told me to come back the next day and pay to get her phone fixed and pay her phone bill, and she wouldn't be mad at me anymore. I sent her the money to get her phone fixed. She got her phone fixed. I paid her phone bill, and then she pulled out a box cutter, and she started punching on me, and she took my phone. She used to be a track star, so she started into a full sprint down the street in the middle of Newark, New Jersey. Mind you, I'm not from here. She is, so she knows where she at. She knows where she going. I don't know any of this. I'm chasing her. I get lost. I decide to make my way back to the Airbnb, and what happens is she cashed up herself $704. That was all the money that was on my cash app. That was my money for school, so I didn't even have any money to get a train ticket to get back home. Luckily, what I did have was my laptop, which is what I'm recording on. That's why the quality of this video is probably bad, but I had my laptop. So I looked at the thing on Cash App, and I seen that she cashed up herself all my money, which is where the messages come from that said, please, why, how could you do this to me? I'm going to kill myself. And unfortunately, I did. You know, I was so devastated by the situation because I went to the police station, and she said, you know, if you ever actually really love me, then you won't, because I have a warrant out for my arrest from fighting with Ali Kwan at the train station. I'll go to jail, and I don't have bail money, so I'll stay there. Even though she did have bail money, she had my money, but I think her ticket was like $1,000. So she was like, yeah, I'll go to jail, and I'll have to stay there. So I didn't. I didn't want her to go to jail. I just wanted my money back. So I told her, you know, if you just cash out me enough money to get home, she said, I'm not giving you shit back, fuck you. But you still don't report it. So I didn't report it, and I said, fuck it, swallowed my pride, called my parents, told them what happened, had my dad come and pick me up because my mom was in Florida. And I'm explaining it to him on the way home. I'm drained, I'm exhausted, I'm really sad, it's just a lot going on. When I finally went back to school, I didn't eat for a couple days, I wasn't sleeping, and I just decided that I had enough, and I was like, I just can't live like this anymore. I don't want to be lonely, but how can I justify going back to her? How can I justify the situation anymore? This girl just robbed me at knife point. But being lonely is just too much of a burden, so I was like, fuck it. Might as well just, you know, clock out early. And I ended up taking a leave of absence from school and going into the hospital, the psych ward. And I stayed there for a little less than a week. And after that, I went to therapy. Went to therapy all summer, actually. And, you know, with the combination of therapy and my bestie, I was able to wean myself off and make it so I never felt like I wanted to go back. But the Christmas before this incident that I just talked about, we spent together. She already had a girlfriend, but I knew she had a girlfriend. I had convinced myself I'd rather be the one you cheat with than the one you cheat on. So we did the matching PJs things, we making gingerbread houses, and she was FaceTiming her girlfriend. So I guess she told her girlfriend she was somewhere else. And the only thing I asked her, please do not make me look stupid. Don't FaceTime her in my house in front, like do it in my bedroom. Don't FaceTime her in my living room or in my kitchen while my parents can see you and hear you. That's mad disrespectful. I haven't broken the news to them yet that we broken up, so please don't make me look bad. I'm trying to find my chapstick. I don't know where it is. So she said okay, and then still blatantly goes and sits on my couch and FaceTimes her. Now I'm mad because I asked you specifically not to make me look bad, and that's exactly what you're doing. I brought her a couple $100 worth of gifts, so did my parents. She fucking was ungrateful. The next day, she was in my room throwing the gifts around, breaking them, punching walls, and jumping on my bed and shit. I'm like, bro, this is not a hotel. This is a house. This is somebody's $500,000 house. You can't do shit like this here, bro. That shit is not cool. That shit is not okay. Like, you legitimately... Like, this is not okay. And I'm crying because I know the walls are thin, bro. They can hear when I'm playing music. They'll be like, you turn that down. They can hear when my TV is too loud. I'll be in the kitchen, and if I leave my door open, I can literally hear. I'll be in the kitchen getting a snack. I can hear my TV from my kitchen. So I know that they heard all that. So I'm crying. Not because you punching on me. Not because you kicking me. Not because you throwing a tantrum and throwing shit around and breaking shit that I just bought you. I'm crying because I know they can hear, and I'm embarrassed because I know that I'm gonna come back to you, and I'm gonna want you to come back over, and I'm gonna be back in your face, and I don't want people to think bad of you because then they're thinking bad of me. Bitches come and go, but you know I stay. So what happened with that is it was during the pandemic time, so you know I had a little bit of money. Someone had given me a car because I passed my driver's test, one of my parents' friends, and I picked her up. We went to the mall. So we went to Deptford Mall. I spent like $1,600 buying stuff. I bought myself like a jean jacket, a hoodie from Big Sporting Goods, shit like that. I spent like probably $200 on me. The rest of it was on her. So we get back in my car. I'm parked at Wawa because she wanted to go into Wawa and get something. So she had asked me something, and I'm on the phone with Quaja, and I guess she was asking me for money to go in Wawa, and I said no because I just spent like 2 bands on you basically. She pulls out a stack of hundreds bigger than my face. So I'm like, yo, I'm really mad right now. Marquaja, like, why? I'm like, because she just had me spend 2 bands on her at the mall, and she got more money that's in my parents' bank account right now. She gets mad, talking about I'm telling her business, and punches me in the face like 3 times. I told her to get out of my car. I called the cops, and I left her there stranded. She calls me, and she was like, please don't leave me here. I got a warrant out for my arrest. I'm so sorry. If the cops come here, you already told them what I look like and describe me. So if they see me walking or they come here, they're going to take me. I'm far from where I'm at, and this money is scam money. I'm not going to be able to justify where I got this from. I'm going to go to jail. I came and picked her up. I took her home. She never said thank you or none of that. I had to make up an excuse. I told my parents, it was raining real hard, so I told my parents, I slammed on the brakes and I went forward and hit my fist on the steering wheel. I don't know whether they believed it or not. I just know that that's what I told them. And then the last picture is of me telling her finally no about the money. Okay, so this one says she told me she was working overnights at Victoria's Secret. Now there are a lot of people in the comments saying, you know, every once in a while there is an overnight shift at Victoria's Secret, which obviously because you got to do stocking and stuff, but it wasn't every once in a while. It was every single night. And what I later found out was that she was telling me she was working overnights at Victoria's Secret specifically so that she could be laid up with a nigga, because she like, you can't text me because I'll get in trouble. Which sounds legit. You can't text me back at work, so I'm thinking, I'm not going to text you. I don't want you to get in trouble. You wasn't doing overnights at Victoria's Secret every night and the mall closed at 9. She was saying that so that she could be laid up with a nigga every night and I wouldn't text her phone and bother her. She was laid up with the nigga Ali Kwan. So I went to Trenton High West with her, right? She was a senior before me. I was supposed to go to prom with her. What happened was, this boy was saying he fucked her or he was going to fuck her, something along the lines of that. And I'm not really confrontational. I don't like to put my hands on people, shit like that. So I was just arguing with him. I'm like, bro, you should apologize. That's fucked up. Things escalated. He smacked my phone out of my hand. I spit on him. I spit in his face, actually. On his face. And long story short, I got expelled from school and they barred me from prom. They said, you can't go to prom. She left that night and came back. She left that night, went to her aunt's house to get her hair done. Came back that next day and she was in a limo. She got out the car to take pictures and shit with a date, a girl named Paige. So she replaced me within 24 hours and didn't even tell me that she was going to do that. She just took another bitch to prom. I was really upset because I was really upset. And I found out the next day that she had been telling people at school that I was her cousin, and that's why I was defending her. She wouldn't even admit that we were together. Okay, so this boy named Keon from Trenton, she kept telling me that I think he deaf in one ear, or he deaf in general, or something like that. So she kept telling me, he an alcoholic too. She kept telling me that he was her cousin. Mind you, later on I found out none of her family know this boy. Her mom, her dad, her sister, her brother, her cousin, nobody knows him, so he's not her actual cousin. But what happened was, she kept telling me he was her cousin and she was spending the night over there. I found out later he wasn't her cousin. He was just fucking on her. That happened multiple times. She would tell me people was her brother. This person was her bestie. She was telling me the boy Ali Khan was her bestie. And turns out that wasn't true. She was just fucking on these people. My first time visiting since almost getting shot. So let me tell the story about that. So the first Valentine's Day, since she had been at her new apartment, I think Valentine's Day of 2019, I had planned us a date. Mind you, I had been saving up all my money. I was doing kids work at school. I was saving up all my checks, and I had took her to the movies to see Happy Death Day to You, and we went to Applebee's because the mall has the Applebee's and movies in it. It's Jersey Gardens Mall in Elizabeth. While we at the movies, she wanna argue and shit because the whole time she looking at her phone, smiling, talking, texting. I'm like, bro, we at the movies. At least pretend to be happy on this date with me. So we got in an argument because I confronted her about it. She, mind you, this is like $50 worth of food. She smacking the shit out. She smacked the shit out of my hand, smacked my hot dog on the floor, poured the slushy on my lap, all this goofy shit. She punching on me in the theater. So we go outside. I call us a cab back to her apartment. Sometime between us leaving the movie theater and us getting out the cab, we reconcile, we happy, we chilling, we play fighting. We see some girl that she knows, mind you. I only met this girl one time in passing. The program she was in a program where they give you your own apartment, you don't pay rent, you just gotta have a job. That's the only stipulation. And then after like 5 years, they, make you move on. But you had a bunch of time to save money, so you ain't. So, the girl was also in the program. The girl got a kid, so she gotta have frequent DIFUS visits with the girl. That's really all I know about the girl. She's Spanish, I don't really remember. So the girl and her aunt and some dude are walking down the street. Her auntie old as fuck, they all drunk. She tell me she wanna fight me. I'm like, bro, I'm 17, you're like 23. I don't even know you. You're 6 years older than me. You wanna fight me? I'm not fighting you. I don't fight people. I don't do that. I don't put my hands on people. So the girl auntie managed to pull her and be like, come on, let's just go. Like, that's a kid. So she come knocking on the door. Chanel lets her in. She got her arm like this and got a black coat over top of it, like a trench coat. I'm not really paying too much attention to it. I don't know why I thought she was holding her like this. I don't know why I thought she was holding it like that. So she like, I want to fight. I'm like, I'm not fighting you, bro. She like, well, if you don't fight me, I'm gonna just punch on you. I'm gonna just beat you up, fuck you up real bad. I'm like, Chanel, you gonna let her do this to me? Like, I don't even know why she wants to fight. I've never had words with this girl. I've never crossed her. I've never said nothing about her. I've never talked about her. I've never texted her. I don't even know this girl like that. We saw each other one time in passing. She was leaving your crib with her daughter as I was coming in. So the only reason she could possibly have to want to fight me is if you told her something, or if she fucking with you and she's mad that I'm here, that I'm fucking with you. Chanel, like, let me talk to you outside. So her and the girl start to walk outside, but she's walking ahead of the girl. She gets out the door first, and the girl shuts the door, locks the door. It's just me and the girl in the apartment. So she take the coat off her arm. She got a gun in her hand. I'm so confused because now I got a gun in my face. What did I do? Like, she still hasn't told me what I did. I'm like, bro, if you gonna shoot me, just shoot. I don't know what the fuck your problem is. You're not even telling me what's wrong. Chanel climbs through her kitchen window. She comes back in the apartment. She sees the girl got a gun in her hand. She telling her, like, bro, leave. They saw you come here to my apartment on the cameras. It's just me, you, and her in here. They're gonna know that you shot her. You're gonna lose your daughter. So she basically convinces the girl to leave, citing that if she shoots me, she'll go to jail and lose her daughter. She starts walking out the door, and right when she's about to get out the door, she decides, nah, fuck it. Sticks her hand with the gun in the door. I pick up a fork and start stabbing that bitch in the hand, trying to get her out the door because she's trying to fight her way back inside the door. So yeah, I almost got shot. So later on that night, Chanel, like, I think you should leave. What? You think I should leave? I didn't do anything. Like, I don't understand. So I go to walk to the train station. The girl is sitting at the train station in her car at the bottom of the stairs waiting for me. I walk back to Chanel's apartment. I can't leave, bro. She's sitting at the train station. Maybe she still got that gun on her, bro. She decided, fuck her daughter. She was still gonna murder me. Murder. I'm gonna get murdered over you, and I don't even know what I did. I'm not leaving tonight. I'll leave tomorrow. So like an hour later, somebody had delivered her weed, so she like, okay, walk to the chicken shack with me. So up North Jersey, everything is the chicken shack. It was called Kennedy's Fried Chicken, but they call it the chicken shack. Where I'm from, in South Jersey, I'm from Camden, we call everything Crown Fried. So she like, walk to the chicken shack with me to get a Dutch. We go to leave, the girl's still sitting there. I'm like, I can't. She like, Biagio, she's not gonna do nothing to you. Bruh, she was willing to shoot me in your house. You think she's not gonna shoot me out in the train station where it's actually no cameras at? I'm not going, bro. Why do you keep trying to get me to leave as if you want her to do something to me? I'm gonna stay here and you're gonna leave. She was going for like an hour and a half. So I FaceTime her. She's with the girl. They walking around kikiing, chilling, drinking. This girl just tried to murder me. And you're walking around kikiing, chilling with her. Please be so fucking for real. So she come back to the house, we smoke. The next day, the girl's still waiting there, so I ended up getting in an Uber and going to a train station a little bit farther away. I never heard from that girl again, but anytime I go up that way, I'll be a little bit skeptical. So, there's a mall, this mall wasn't built, well, this mall just got built, or just got opened. The, American Dream Mall. So we went to the American Dream Mall when it first opened, and I brought her Victoria's Secret. We went mini golf. I paid for, and we did like this mirror maze with her friends. I paid for the tickets for the mini golf. I paid for the tickets for the mirror maze. I bought the girl's daughter. The girl had a baby, a newborn. She was probably a couple months. I bought the girl's baby some stuff from this baby store. I paid for everybody's food. I paid for everybody's cab and everybody's Uber. So as we in the Uber on the way home, she's mad because she saw that I was texting some girl that I used to talk to. Mind you, me and her are not dating at this point, and she's dating some girl named, was she dating Naya or Nana at that point? She was dating Nana at that point. So I think her and Nana was in like a throuple, like a 3 relationship, because the girl Nana already had a boyfriend, but she was living with Nana and fucking Nana's boyfriend, and Nana was fucking her. They was all fucking each other. So she was dating somebody. So I'm confused. You literally have a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Why are you mad that I'm texting my ex? So she punching on me in the Uber to the point where the dude stopped and he like, bro, I can't drive if y'all gonna be doing this. He almost put us out on the highway because she was punching on me. So yeah, that's that. So I don't know if people believe that I got it tatted or not, so let me just show y'all. It says Chanel. So we had decided that we were going to get each other's name tatted. I tatted her name, and when I told her, she called me, FaceTimed me with her friends on East, and they laughed at me for like 5 minutes. And then she hung up the phone and didn't speak to me for the rest of that day. A few times throughout the 5 years, she would tell me, I'm going to get your name tatted, or we could get matching tattoos, or I'm going to get your initials. One time, she even texted me and said, I'm about to go get your name tatted right now, send me the money. Sent her $100, she got the boy Ali Kwan's name tatted. Right here. So I paid for her to get the boy's name tatted by accident, because I thought she was going to get me tatted. She told me she was, and when she told me she got it, she wouldn't let me see. I wasn't with her. I was at school at that point. When I finally saw it in person, it was his name and not mine. My ice cream cake from 2019. Okay, so, right, we were arguing because I was supposed to come and pick her up from Newark, where she was at. She was with the boy Ali Kwan. Where did he live? He lived like, I don't know. He lived in North too, I believe. So I kept calling her phone. She wasn't answering. Finally, the phone picks up. It's him. I'm like, where's Chanel? He flips the camera, screaming, eating dick up as usual. She's sucking his dick. He hangs up the phone. She finally calls me back. We arguing. I'm texting her. We arguing. It's raining. I'm bawling, and through my tears, I can't see, because not only is it raining, and I'm texting, and I can't see because I already am blind. Like, I wear glasses. I wear literal bifocals, and it's raining, so I can't see, and my eyes are cloudy from tears, and I crash. Head-on collision. I literally could have died. The entire bumper in front, the car was totaled. The entire bumper in front part of my car was smashed in. My airbags didn't go off. I literally could have died. All because she wanted to be sucking dick. Let her move into my dorm. So, when I decided to transfer schools to go to Rowan, because Rowan was closer to my family, and I knew some kids who was going to Rowan who I went to school in Camden with, so I felt like I would have a better chance, a better opportunity. She was homeless. She has been homeless consistently since that first apartment. She got kicked out of that first apartment because she technically was, since it was a program, she was not supposed to be having company, but she always was having niggas in there. She always was bringing girls home. She always was having people there, and so they kicked her out, and she lived with her mom, and she just was house hopping. What she has a tendency to do is have sex with people off the strength of them letting her live there. Be dating people that she don't like or she don't want to date, specifically because they're allowing her to live with them. So that's what happened. She was asking to stay with me. I told her she could stay. Mind you, it's a 4-bedroom apartment. Nobody else lived there. Told her she didn't have to sleep with me. She didn't have to be in my bed. She didn't have to have sex with me. None of that. I told her the only one thing that I'm gonna ask you to do is to not be in my face and be talking on the phone to people. Don't be texting people. Don't disrespect me, bro. Do that shit when you're not at my apartment. I woke up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning to drive her to Camden because she had a job at Dunkin' Donuts. I didn't have no job. Classes were online. I could have slept in, but I got up every day. Never gave me gas money. I fed her, never gave me gas money or contributed to the food. I smoked her out every day, bought bottles. She never contributed to all that, but she had a job. I didn't even have a job. And so when I finally confronted her about, because she was on the phone with the boy Ali Kwan, she told him she wasn't even sleeping with me. She was sleeping in a different room or something like that. I'm like, bro, every other door is locked. I don't even have access to these rooms. She's a liar. She's been sleeping in my bed. We've been fucking all that goofy shit. Me and him talked on the phone for an hour, and he is a fucking weirdo. He's a munch. He basically told me, I know she fucking with like 4 other niggas. Play your part. Fuck it, like, let her fuck with them, let her fuck with me, and play your part. When it's your turn, it be your turn. So when I confronted her about it, she jumped out the car in the middle of the highway, pretended she was trying to get hit by a car. She was playing Crossy Roads. She done bamboozled another person into letting her live with them, and she came here to pick up all her shit. Was in a trash bag. I guess she left a specific hoodie, mind you. I didn't know that. I gave her trash bag and then got into my car and left. So I'm on my way home. I live in Robbinsville. That's like an hour and a half from here. She calls me and says she want her hoodie. I'm like, Chanel, I'll give it to you another time. I'm not coming all the way back to bring you no hoodie. She's mad. She's angry. She calls campus security and tells them that she was living with me and that she left her stuff here and that I wouldn't give it to her. I'm not allowed to have someone living with me on a college campus. That is against the rules. I almost got kicked out. I got a fucking, like, a violation for that. And I was on, like, basically, like, what is it? Like thin ice, like a probation. So the family that adopted me has a beach house. I went to the beach house with them for the first time. I was excited about, I never seen clear water at the ocean. I never even been out of the state of New Jersey. I went to like Philly and surrounding areas, but when I was young, my mom would take my siblings to like Disney World and to Georgia and to Florida and to all these places, and she would always leave me home. I never even been to Wildwood. She would take them to Wildwood and Atlantic City and take them to all these places and drop me off at my aunt's house or my dad's house or somewhere so that she could take them and didn't take me. She specifically left me home. And so when it came, when it came time for me to finally see this and experience this, I was happy. So I called Chanel. She was making it about her being selfish, saying that I was bragging and I was throwing it in her face. And so she basically told me that I had sent her $200 a day before because she told me her phone was broken and she needed a new phone. I sent her $200 and then I sent her $700 because iPhones are expensive. She told me that all the money that I sent her, her phone was perfectly fine. Was this the time she used the money to put it on his books when he was in jail, or was this the time? No, she told me she used the money to buy him a new phone. I was crushed. I was ready to walk into the ocean and drown. Six Flags date I got stood up for. Okay, so the situation with Quaja. Me and her had fell out before, and I'm pretty sure it was for the same reason. When me and Chanel got back into each other's good graces, I had a habit of ignoring the entire world, flaking on everybody specifically for her. And it happened the first time we fell out. When we rekindled our friendship, we was cooling, and then me and Chanel got back into each other's good graces, and I did it again. She would call me, I would decline her call to be on FaceTime with Chanel, and she knew it was a cycle. Like, it was gonna go back to the toxic, tragic part, and that I was gonna be trying to cry on her shoulder, but I wouldn't even answer the phone for her. So we haven't talked since. The carnival that I got stood up for, Bahama Breeze, Dave & Buster's, 76ers game. So my midterm, I honestly thought I failed my midterm, but I got a 105%. I was drunk when I took that, and I had gotten no sleep because I was depressed. So that Christmas that she spent with me at my new family's house, I had bought myself, because I knew she was going to come empty-handed. Mind you, I had bought her hundreds of dollars worth of gifts. My family had bought her like $100 or $200 worth of gifts, and we take turns and go under the tree and open gifts one by one. We go like down the row. She had never experienced no shit like that because her family is fucked up and dysfunctional just like mine. They don't fuck with her. None of her siblings, not her dad, her mom moved away and don't speak to her. And it's because she uses everybody and she crosses everybody and she burns bridges. And so I wanted her to experience that. We sit and drink hot chocolate. We sit around the tree, open presents one by one. We have breakfast together. All that kind of shit. So I wanted her to experience that because I never got to experience that, and I know she never got to experience that. She's sitting there being ungrateful. So I bought all these gifts for myself because I knew she came empty-handed, and I told her, I'm gonna write to Chanel from Biagé on the bag and pretend that you got me this stuff so that they don't think that you came here ungrateful and empty-handed, and it's gonna make me look bad as well. She said, no, don't lie. I don't want nobody to think I got you nothing. I don't really give a fuck. Okay. I still did it anyway, and I wrote her name on the bag and pretended she gave it to me. So when my mom was like, oh, who's that from? My brother was like, oh, it says Chanel on the bag. I just pretended because I didn't want anybody to think that, she came empty-handed and didn't get me anything. There are a lot of more incidences, like thousands and thousands and thousands and hundreds of incidences that I could rant on and 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 on about for, I'm sorry, I was reading something, like for literal ever, because she did so much awful, disgusting, vile things, like so many things I can't even explain. Like, you don't know how many times so she sent me the girl that she's currently dating, right? Her name is Shantice Johnson. Yeah, I'm putting her whole government out there. She lives in Orange, New Jersey. She lives in East Orange. Yeah. So, she told me her and Shantice wasn't dating. I knew it was a lie. I knew they was. Me and her got in an argument one day. She basically sent me a sex tape of them, and that I was so distraught by that. I sent her a picture of me with a gun up to my head saying I was going to kill myself. I honestly was, though. And I had like a panic attack and cut all my hair off. And so I was, Baldy McBalderson, because I broke down. I had like a mental breakdown. I just couldn't believe that that's where this picture came from, because she had told me, she sent me that, and I got super drunk and cut all my hair off, trying to figure out a way to, I guess, make myself more likable to her. I don't know what I was trying to do. I just was so distraught. I just was like, you know what? I'll figure something out. I just need to try something new, and I guess what I decided to try new was to cut all my hair off. I couldn't believe she sent me that, bro. I couldn't even finish watching it. I was so distraught by it. I didn't sleep for like 2 days because every time I closed my eyes, I could see that girl giving her back shots with a fucking brown strap on, and it was, oh god, I still see it sometimes. Again, I just want to reiterate how much I appreciate everybody and all the love and support, and anybody who got something negative to say. Let me just say this: I was young and I was vulnerable because I had a lot of shit going on with my family, and she was fully aware of that, and she took advantage. And every time that I got the courage to walk away, she would reel me back in with promises that everything would be different now, that we could start a family, this, that, and the third, that, I'm the only person who knows her, and that I'm the one that she wanted to be with. She's sorry about everything. And being lonely is a crippling feeling, and I just really didn't want to feel lonely anymore, because I felt lonely about shit with my family. My dad was in jail, so he was no help. I lost a bunch of people during the pandemic, and I was just such in a deep spot that every time she said it, I believed it, and every time she told me it would be okay, I believed it. And she would punch on me and then hold me while I cried, or like punch on me and then give me a kiss. So I don't know. It's just, I feel like until you are in a domestic violence situation, or until you just won't understand. And the thing about, how you let her punch on you, how you let her beat on you, you're a lot bigger than her. I'm not a fighter. I don't want to put my hands on people. I don't want to fight people. I care about my future, and I care about my college education, and fighting people and all that. Like I told you, she has several warrants out for her arrest. Those are the kind of things that get you in jail and get you in trouble, and I'm not looking for that kind of attention. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to be a jailbird. I don't want to run the streets for the rest of my life and can't sign a lease and can't get an apartment because I committed a felony because I did something to this girl. She weighs like 120 pounds. I weigh almost 300 pounds. So if she says I did something to her, it'll be a lot more believable than if I go to the police station and say she hit me. No one's gonna believe that this 110-pound, 5-foot girl beat on me. But it's very much believable that my 5'6", 300-pound self was whooping her ass. And so I just, to avoid me, the first time I ever raised my hand to her, she would have went to the police station. So to avoid me getting into any kind of trouble or anything like that, I just never did, and never told my family or any of the people around me because I always knew I was going to run back to her, and I didn't want people to look at her bad or not want to be around her or want to fight her, because at the end of the day, I don't have my own apartment. Like, at school I do, but when I'm home, I live with my parents, and so I can't have my parents hating her. They won't allow her back in the house. Or if I go to my aunt's house, I can't have my aunt hating her. She won't allow her to come back to her house. You understand what I'm saying? So I needed people to like her and see her the way I thought I saw her, instead of how she really was. So I just hid it for a long time. I never said anything. I lied. A lot of my friends would catch on and say stuff. Like, I cut off a lot of people off the strength of trying to protect my relationship with her, and preserve whatever I assumed was a good relationship. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who supported me. This was not like I'm trying to get clout off this. This was just, I cannot answer 700 emails and texts about the story. Folks just comment in part 3. I'm invested now, so if you really are, you'll come look at it. Other than that, there's nothing I'm not going to respond to. Anybody who sent me a text saying, like, kudos to you, or I'm proud of you, or something like that, I will respond, but I cannot type this story out to 700 people. It's entirely too long. I just wanted to say thank you, though. And, I really appreciate all the support. Y'all got me from, like, 8,000 followers to, like, 13K. Y'all getting my Instagram follows up. I really fuck with y'all, and I really appreciate it. And if you are going through a domestic violence situation, don't be scared because, this person's, like, who's going to believe it? It's believable. And if you think no one else is going to want you, you don't have nowhere else to go, even a little bit now, my confidence is still shot. Like, sometimes I still look in the mirror and hear in the back of my mind the stuff she used to tell me, like, oh, you fat, you disgusting, you worthless, nobody's going to want to be with you. I mean, I haven't been with anybody since her, so I still hear that in the back of my mind sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe she was right. Maybe nobody else other than her wants me, because since the time that we initially broke up, she's dated like 25 people. I haven't dated anybody, and she's, you feel me, had like 7, 8, 9, 10 affairs. I've never cheated on her, so sometimes it still feels real, like, that's the truth. Nobody wants me. I'm not attractive. I'm ugly. I'm fat. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I am fat, but just believe in yourself, bro. Everything's gonna be okay. I just recently worked up the courage to tell her no about the money, and she's upset that I decided to, this was not to bash her or to slander her. I even asked in the comments, please, when they told me they found her Instagram and her Facebook and all that, I said, please leave her alone. Please don't bash her. Please don't slander her. Please don't bully her. Please don't run her off the internet. That's not what this was for. That's not the purpose. The purpose was because I needed to vent and I needed to tell my story, and she's mad at me because of it. She's saying she's taking me to court. I don't think she knows how the law works of freedom of speech and all that. She can't take me to court. I only use pictures that I'm directly in or that pertain to me or that she sent to me and consented to being in and consented to me having and using. She can't take me to court. Not that she could afford lawyer fees because she's a raging alcoholic and spends every penny she gets on drugs and alcohol, so I'm not concerned about her taking me to court. I know she's a liar. She said she was going to go to the police station to file a report. I know she's a liar. I know that's not going to happen. Every time I say, like, start my exit, like, oh, bye, I love y'all, I start talking again. But once again, I really appreciate y'all. Keep fucking with me.